everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Today's fashion edition is all about Catherine, Princess of Wales. Exactly 1 year before these pictures came out, she was facing a very intense time and had some health concerns surely sitting at the back of her mind at last year's Christmas Carol service. And it's very lovely for everybody to see her back at the carol service this year, looking happy and healthy, coming out the other side of this challenging year. When anybody goes through unexpected struggles, whether they be health or otherwise, there is always a renewed sense of appreciation for things and a sort of inner calm that's very tangible around those people. And Catherine already kind of had that really grounded vibe, but it's just delightful to see her here this year and in the moment. And it's almost like she was just, you can see that she was preoccupied last year. So I think everybody is so happy and relieved to see her here. And it's just really kind of almost poetic that she made it back. You know, the last real engagement that we saw her do was the carol service last year. And of course, you know, the walk at Sandringham for Christmas service. But that was kind of the last time we saw her for quite some time last year as she went through these challenges, and everybody's thoughts have been with her, and it's just nice to see her back for this. It's lovely. And she looks really, really happy and festive. I love it. One of the things that she does perfectly is dressing for the occasion. We have a bright, vibrant color updated with this velvet bow, which is super cute. It gives a feminine touch. It's girly and it's festive. It gives a nice fresh update to the look. I do think the bow could have been incorporated just a little bit better with some piping along the lapel and along the cuffs. Like, it's super cute, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike the bow. I just think if they would have added around the lapel, along the seams, just a little bit more of the black velvet, I think it would have tied the look together a little bit more. But overall, I love it. I think it's great. I have no complaints. She looks lovely. She looks very, very happy and pleased to be there. And, of course, she is being supported by her entire family, wearing either bright red or burgundy sort of tones, coordinating beautifully. Just a great and fashionable time. Very pleased. Love the looks. Love the earrings. Cannot wait to see her at Sandringham for the Christmas Day walk, if she chooses to participate in that. But as this challenging year comes to a close, we have had a few really fabulous moments from Catherine, the Princess of Wales this year in some beautiful looks. So we will close out today's video taking a look back at some of her gorgeous, beautiful outfits. Always the inspiration for dressing perfectly and beautifully, isn't she? Next, let's take a look at one of her only official appearances so far this fall. Catherine, the Princess of Wales joined Prince William to visit Southport to spend time with the families of the victims as well as the first responders from that day. While her outfit was far from the focus of this outing, it was definitely a great choice for the occasion. Her brown coat is tailored absolutely perfectly. It doesn't smother her figure or feel overwhelming to her because she chooses coats that are tailored really well and that fit her well. One thing you'll notice with Catherine's coats is the shoulder seams are always in the right spot. When your shoulder seams are hanging off and too wide for you, it immediately looks bulky on you. When the arms have too much room, which hers do not, when the arms have too much room, it clutters everything. It clutters the entire area. It clouds your waistline, things like that. It makes it look like you're swimming in it. And when you're trying to hold things or handbags or, you know, just a shot of your hands and your hands are like being eaten by your sleeves, it just looks less polished overall. You'll also notice that, of course, the coats are always tailored really nicely to where they do nip in at the waist, still highlighting that asset. You might as well, but it also just helps it to look more neat, tidy, polished, put together, really, really nice. So this not smothering her figure is a perfect example of how to wear a coat properly. The burgundy dress with the polka dots peeking out remained modest while offering a feminine touch with the bow and the pattern, a little bit of lightness to it, but it's still, her color scheme for this day was a darker color, which makes sense for the unfortunate and more somber reason behind the occasion. Her outfit also matched Prince William's sweater, which lent itself really nicely to a polished look as a pair, that continuity, and just nicer pictures come when you don't clash. We've seen a lot of times Harry and Meghan, despite all their hand-holding, their outfits oftentimes do clash. And so you can just see the comparison here. One couple does look more polished and more in sync without having to be clingy about it, while the other looks a little out of sync simply by the outfits not meshing well together. So it is a thing to pay attention to some of the time. She attended the Festival of Remembrance as well as the actual Remembrance Day Ceremony, and this marks just a couple out of only a handful of appearances she's made. I think everybody has the same sentiment around Catherine and her public-facing engagements at this point, and that is everybody seems very, very happy to let her take her time and not put any pressure on her, and is just grateful to see her, and she looks well. She looks better and better every time she has an event and is out and about. Clearly, this weekend was important to her. She's actually never missed a Remembrance Day ceremony since she married Prince William. So it's definitely something that she prioritizes, and was probably really, really nice for her to get to the point where she was feeling well enough that she knew she wouldn't have to miss it. And so she definitely looked happy to be there. She looked really, really good. She looked healthy. And of course, her and Prince William looked fabulous together. And 2 back-to-back events is a lot for anybody. And so her choosing to go ahead and be there for both of them, some people speculated it was in part because Queen Camilla is taking a break because she has a chest infection, so she's working on getting back to full health herself. But really, I think it was she feels ready, and she feels like these are important events not to miss, and that she feels connected to, which is really nice, really respectful. When you think about her and her role and the longevity of her role, having a tradition of like never missing a Remembrance Day is something that people will respect and is a nice thing. It really communicates values without having to say it out loud, that this is something she really does prioritize and care a lot about and feels is very important to show up for consistently, which is great. She, of course, attended alongside Prince William, King Charles, and a handful of other royals. But let's first look at what she wore to the Festival of Remembrance at Royal Albert Hall. She opted for an all-black ensemble, wearing a coat dress by Alexander McQueen. I feel like it is a rewear. I feel like we've seen it before, and she tends to do rewears on Remembrance Day weekend every time. There might be one new piece, but then the other piece is a rewear. For example, she'll rewear the same coat dress that she's worn previously with a new hat or fascinator, or vice versa. She'll wear a new coat dress with a reworn fascinator or hat. It's just one of those little things, just a little detail that tends to really lend itself to her understanding of the respect you are to show on these weekends, to not come out in a flashy full new outfit head to toe, but rather to choose from her closet already and her wardrobe already. So that was really, really, really nice. I think that this coat dress we have seen before, this very simple, very perfectly fitted Alexander McQueen coat dress, and she paired it with pearl jewelry, which is a nice choice. If you'll remember, last year she wore Queen Elizabeth's 3-strand pearl necklace, which was very poignant. But pearls can be a symbol of remembrance and mourning, so they're an elegant choice and a smart choice appropriate for the occasion. Her earrings are the Collingwood earrings from Princess Diana's collection. Her necklace is a high street necklace, so it's an affordable brand, just a regular pearl necklace that matched perfectly. So she got a good match there, and that's another thing that people love about seeing Catherine's outfits, is how she mixes these things so seamlessly and just makes them look fabulous together, like they were made for each other. And it's also relatable. It provides that connection that people don't even realize to her, where she has that accessibility factor, where she seems more normal for doing things like that. Absolutely love her total look for this. The coat dress is perfect. I really enjoy the buttons along the sleeve and across the waist. It's tailored perfectly. It flatters her figure really nicely. The coat dress is, as you'll notice, hemmed just below the knee, which lends itself to the respectful nature. The modesty there is a good choice for the events. I like the way she styled her hair, swept off to one side here. The curls look luscious and gorgeous. Everything looks really nice, not too overdone and over the top, just really beautiful. And Catherine's makeup is actually really nice. Now, some people thought she looked like she was wearing a bit too much makeup, but when you look at this picture here, you'll notice she's not actually at all. It's just the lighting. When you're up in the Royal Box at Royal Albert Hall, there's all sorts of stage lighting not that far and lights going up at the box itself. And then there's like shadows everywhere around. And so it affects the way the light hits the people in the Royal Box. And so it creates a lot more shadows and whatnot. And so all you're seeing in the comparison between this picture and this picture is those shadows making her eyebrows and her cheek makeup and whatnot look darker than it really is. But here you can see when she's face on, her skin looks glowy and healthy and dewy, and her makeup does not look too harsh or dark at all. This is an evening event, and so this looks like a perfectly appropriate amount of makeup and perfectly well done makeup. I hope that she got to enjoy a nice hair and makeup session getting it done before the event, because that's always nice for the Remembrance Day ceremony. Catherine, Princess of Wales, wore a military-inspired coat by Catherine Walker, which was a rewear from her 2020 look. I really liked it then. I really like it now, but this time she added a velvet bow right here on the collar. This is a great technique and something that we are used to Catherine doing expertly, and that is updating things. Remember I said she tends to rewear things on Remembrance Day, and that is in part to show respect. One of you guys recently asked me why Catherine wears 3 poppies or a 3 poppy pin rather than just like a single poppy. Now, she's never publicly said why she chooses to do this, but it's assumed that it's because her great-grandmother's 3 brothers died during World War I when they were serving. So that would be like her great-uncles, Maurice in 1915, Lionel in 1916, and Francis in 1917, according to this publication. But like I said, that's just an assumption as why she does. It would make sense, especially for her, who tends to be really thoughtful and mindful of those sorts of things. It's a nice sentimental touch. Now, I cannot find any information on this fascinator. I do feel like we've seen it before. I absolutely love this one. The veil is something that I think is so striking, so beautiful, so elegant. It's just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. And so I feel like it's a rewear, this fascinator, but I'm not 100% sure. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think. And here she is wearing a pair of Queen Elizabeth's earrings. These pearls were given to Elizabeth when she was just a princess for her wedding in 1947. And she had the pearls joined with diamonds to create the earrings that we see here now. And she wore them a lot when she was younger in life, and they were passed on to Diana after Diana had married Charles, and after Diana's death they were returned to the Queen, and then the Queen has evidently left them to Catherine, or perhaps Catherine is just borrowing them for the day, but they are absolutely beautiful. Really lovely touch. Everything looks pulled together really nicely. Her hairstyle's great, creates a nice balance for her fascinator. That's another thing that's important to consider when you're going to wear a hat or a fascinator is your hair needs to balance it and flow with it nicely. And so as you can see, it's a lot fuller. It's not tied back super tight and sleek across the sides, because that would just make the fascinator itself look a little bit too big or almost like a comical topper. So she does a really nice job, or whoever it is that does her hair does a really nice job of creating these nice, soft, voluminous updos that are still sleek and polished. Really Speaking classy. Of, let's take a look back at Princess Catherine's absolutely gorgeous, elegant ensemble for the Queen's funeral. This is just one of the most beautiful things she's ever worn. Despite it being for something incredibly sad and challenging, this is just a stunning look here. You'll notice this coat dress has ever so slightly more volume to the skirt than some of her others, which creates a really beautiful silhouette, a little bit of a softer flow to it, and prevents it from being like tight or form-fitting in any way. So it was a really respectful option. Her veiled hat was one of her best of all time. Just absolutely beautiful. Feminine touches throughout this outfit. You'll notice the extra bit of pleat in the skirt, creating a little bit more softness and flow. The veil itself, obviously gorgeous. And the little bow on top of her wide-brimmed hat. Perfectly tied together by her intricate updo and gorgeous, stunning jewelry. Here she is wearing a choker, earrings, and a bracelet from the Queen's collection, obviously chosen to honor the late monarch. And again, as you'll notice, this coat dress is a below-the-knee hemline, allowing for that extra thoughtfulness towards the occasion. She has this same exact coat dress in white, which you will recognize from this trooping the color during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. For Prince Philip's funeral, she looked equally as classy, polished, and graceful. This is where we see what might be the same fascinator that she wore this year, perhaps. Let me know your opinions in the comments. But here she's wearing the bow tie coat by Catherine Walker, which she has worn in red as well. You'll notice that. And she's wearing it over the top of a black Roland Moray asymmetric dress. And the Queen's Bahrain pearl drop earrings and the Queen's 4-row pearl choker, the same one that she wore to the Queen's funeral. Absolutely stunning, very, very striking. And as you can see, it's not just that she looks impeccable and fabulous and is really, really, really thoughtful and mindful and good at putting together really great outfits, or her stylist is really fabulous at helping her with all of these things. It's all the little details and the fact that black is one of those striking colors. It really stands out when she wears it. And last year she wore this gorgeous bright red Alexander McQueen dress and a Philip Tracy hat. This was amazing. This was so stunning. It's a gorgeous color on her. She looks magnificent. And I mean, of course, it's a go-to silhouette for her. This sort of fit and flare always accentuates her figure nicely, but it was striking. It was so bold and beautiful. I loved it. The year before, she wore this polka dot dress by Alessandra Rich. And this is that beautiful crepe de chine fabric with an asymmetrical hem that had brown accents, brown dots rather than black. So it was a really, really nice way to brighten up and warm up a traditional monochrome polka dot look. I loved it. I love her in dots. This is a great silhouette for her. She looked lovely. It was beautiful. And here she's wearing Princess Diana's pearl and diamond drop earrings with it and a fabulous, fabulous hat. In 2019, she wore a fan favorite, very Mary Poppins-esque, ethereal, beautiful dress here. This is a light blue Elie Saab dress that has a lot more sheerness to it in the original design. So he adjusted this for her. So it's a bespoke piece, but there is a version of it available in this resort collection of his. And this is the dress that she has worn to at least one, if not two, garden parties. In 2016, it was her Royal Ascot debut, and she wore this white lace Dolce & Gabbana dress with sort of toffee nude pumps and a beautiful hat that had almost like a wicker accent to it. It was a really beautiful look. I love this lace on her. It's very beautiful. I love the skirt. It's got a slight tier to it. It reins in nicely for her waistline. It was a great option. And the very next year, she wore something quite similar. This is an Alexander McQueen dress. It's a little bit shorter than the last one. It has a slightly more dramatic fit and flare silhouette. The sleeves are a little shorter. It's a slightly more summery version of what she wore the year before. Basically, that was a little bit more spring in its vibe. This one feels just a little bit more summery. Overall, my absolute favorite is that red one from last year. But what is your favorite? I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope it was a fun, happy holiday treat to look at these spectacular outfits and, of course, Catherine's beautiful, happy face. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, everybody. I will see you next time. Have a happy day. Bye.